Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us again. Today it's still off season, so we're still trying to fill these preseason weeks with a little good material. So we're going to talk a little wide zone today with Coach Flo. Get into that here shortly. Up next here on the standard.
That's my standard. That's my standard. My champion standard. Champion standard. Pull up with the answers. Yeah, the answers. The champion standard. Champion standard. Yeah.
I think summertime has officially set in, Rob.
Yeah, it's hot.
Man, it's hot. But it's just a dry heat. It's a dry heat. That's what you always hear when you go to Vegas.
Yeah.
That's what they always say in Vegas, but it's still hot. I don't care how you put it. It was almost dark before I started mowing last night. I wanted to make sure I was in as much shade as possible last night. But yeah, so British Open this weekend. I know you're not quite the golf fan that I am. I get into all the majors. Last major of the season, Scotty Scheffler dominated again. He's kind of becoming the next Tiger Woods.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, he's getting into some rare air. He's been dominating for the last maybe 24, 30 months. He won 9 times last year. He won 2 majors this year. He has, I want to say, 4 majors already. Yeah, he's just on one of those rolls and everybody's chasing him kind of thing. So I didn't ever think there would be another Tiger Woods in our lifetime, but he's slowly becoming that next person, that next dominant player in an era where there's some really great golfers. So I think he's doing in probably the hardest era. So that was fun to watch today. I always like the British Open because they tee off really early in the morning because it's across the pond and you can get it's over with by like 12:30 or 1. That's perfect.
It's like those NFL games are over in London and Germany. Exactly. You wake up to have your eggs and grits and you see you're sitting having your cup of coffee. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
but I like those days because they're those Sundays. I mean, you've got football all day long, especially
all day.
We also have got our pod, so like we've got football in the morning, afternoon. Then we talk football, and then you got Sunday night football. God, I can't wait for football season, man. It is like this is just killing me. How many days do we have? Is it 50 something? 50,
no, 40, we're in the 40s.
We're in the 40s now?
41 days, Rob.
Oh wow.
I think yesterday was 7 weeks exactly. So I think there's 41 days from today. We're kicking off, man.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah. I'm so sick of this what if crap, man. Like we're trying to kill time, but I just want to get to football.
I know.
This is killing me.
Yeah.
I've been looking at so much film. Dude, I'm ready. Like I've been telling you, I'm so ready. Yeah. I'm ready.
Material's easy. Material's easy when football season starts because everybody's wanting to talk about the same things, and it's just easy. And we'll be, undefeated going into November. It's going to be a fun year.
Yeah, I'm just ready for
whatever, dude.
You're. I am excited for our Sunday routine because our episodes are going to be exactly the same over and over again. And we don't have to come up. It's going to be your 5 takeaways. Mm-hmm. It's going to be dashboard analytics by SIS. And it's going to be all 22 film over and over and over every Sunday. And then Wednesday, we're going to try to do Wednesday show where we're going to have advanced analytics. We're going to have our new, actually it's kind of the Champion Standard family, Ombu analytics and the matchup predictor that we're going to have for Wednesday. So we'll do like a quick 20-30 minute, keep it under 30-minute episode on Wednesday where we're just going to come in. We're just going to talk about the opponents ahead of us and look at what the matchup predictor says. And that's going to be it. Week after week, 12 weeks in a row. Well, 13, 14 weeks, but still, like, it's going to be a routine. And I'm excited. Gotta get to it, man.
Yeah, I know it. And we'll be emotionally drained some of those weekends, man, because some of those games are going to be grueling. That Michigan game is going to be the first game of the year where, yeah,
we're all gonna be on the edge of our seat for that one.
Yeah,
Because we know it should happen.
Yeah,
but it's seeing it with our eyes and believing. Yeah, this is.
Hey, also this weekend I saw Baker's in town for his normal camp that he does down in Norman. He does a youth camp down there every year. I saw that he was in town wearing a horns down hat, of course, in typical Baker style. But yeah, it's always great to see him back in town. He was throwing around something funny. Oh, it was on TFB. They're like, y'all tell me that one day Baker's not going to be the next coach at OU. And I'm like, I'm not going to completely write that off.
Yeah.
Early on, he's got to play his career out, yada, yada, yada. But
yeah, it'd be a few years. But yeah, you could see he loves OU, man. Like, I know. He's the standard for, bleeding crimson. So
and if there's not a better ambassador for the program than like Stoops or Baker or somebody like that, I don't know who is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah,
that'd be awesome. God,
yeah, wouldn't it?
Can you imagine the recruiting on that? Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Heisman winner and long NFL career. I mean, he doesn't get more real than that, and he's 100% authentic, like every second of every single day. So that would be.
I know
that'd be. I don't know. Time will tell.
Yeah, be interesting. I'm trying to think. Hey, you let me know when coach is ready to join us or whatever. I don't want to keep talking here, but I'm trying to think who he would compare to, like as far as like a modern coach.
I feel like he'd almost have Brent's fire, but he'd obviously be like an OC. I could see him kind of jumping around and being excited, kind of like I hate to say, like Tebow was like out west. I mean, because
how about like Dan Lanning, like a current coach?
Dan Lanning, no, like Dan Lanning's
okay. I'm trying to think of.
He's cool, but like he's not as like Baker has a certain energy about him.
He's his own kind of guy,
jumping up and down. The way that he was running the field every single time he scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
I think he'd be like he'd be super passionate over there.
Do you think he'd grab his crotch on the sidelines as a head coach too, or?
I would not put it. No, I wouldn't put it past him. Honestly, I could totally see it. Like, and he would be hated for it by everybody else. We would all love it.
Yeah.
There'd be shirts and I bet he'd plant the flag again. Who knows what he would do?
Yeah. No, that was an interesting comment I saw yesterday, and I was kind of like, yeah, that's not far-fetched. I could think of worse ideas. You know what I mean?
Right. He was quoted as talking about Mateer, about how they have, similarities in their game and stuff. I think I got the quote over here somewhere. Here's Baker's quote on John Mateer. I think there are some similarities in our game, just the way he carries himself. You can tell the leadership goes a long way with him. I think he's a guy that also wears his emotions on his sleeves. Hard worker.
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
Yeah. I'll take that. Yeah, please.
we've as far as the game goes, I think Mateer has definitely got big, thick tires for wheels, and he's able to stiff arm guys and run through some people. I think Baker always tried to run around him. Let's see, it was TCU that tries to knock him out, like he was trying to knock them out. But Mateer, I think he's got thicker legs, and he just needs to get to that Baker level of processing the field like Baker had in 16 and 17. We looked at the stats. We compared him to other OU quarterbacks last episode, and Mateer's got a little ways to go, but I leadership and hard work. I mean, and maybe he Mateer ends up being the next guy to bleed crimson. So
I'm good with that. Yeah, Mateer, his lower body's he's kind of built like Tim Tebow in that regard.
yes, yeah.
Tebow was one of those guys, just really. He was big overall, but yeah, he had a good lower frame that could run through guys and over guys and everything else. So,
well, I think our coach is on.
Yeah, well, we want to welcome back to the show our friend, and I guess you can call him colleague of sorts, Coach Flo. Welcome in, Coach.
What's up, Coach?
What's up? How we doing?
Doing good.
Doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great out here. Yeah, I just got back from Chicago today, but
okay.
So for our listeners, we've got Coach Flo, Coach Floden, joining us, and we're gonna, give us a little clinic on wide zone after we kind of go through this dashboard where we, Coach, we've been going through so much shit the last 3 months of film. I think the number, hold on, I'll pull it up. I think we looked at like 900 plays, and let me see, what was our total? Because on this quick cut, you can look and see how much film we've
yeah, the number, the minute tracking on it is not that great, honestly. Like, I've spent like one night I spent like 2 hours on it, and as I said, I watched like 13 minutes of film or something. I was like, I don't know about that one.
That's not right.
But yeah, some of it's not exactly accurate. I don't know how it tracks it, but
I don't know why it's not. Wait, is it team report? Oh, there it is. Okay, for the season. Yeah, it says 13 minutes for 24. Oh, okay, 25. You've got 215 minutes, and I've got 350. That's quite a bit, man.
Sweet. Bunch of time spent.
About nine and a half hours of watching film.
Something like that.
And probably another, like, at least another 8, man. I don't know. Maybe not 8. I don't know. Maybe 6 to 8 for the dashboard. So I mean,
it's all a blur to me. I watch film for a living, so
yeah, that's what you do. Yeah.
Yeah, but when we say we watch shit, we watch. Like when we go through and dive into an offense or a defense, we're gonna be diving in and watching offense and defense. So, we'll try to organize it. But this is gonna be fun, man. Let me show you this dashboard we got together. And we're just going to introduce it. We're going to be slowly building this out. There's probably some quirky things to it. But, looking at I think it's 860 something plays. So we've got all plays in here. And we've got, obviously, down and distance. We got personnel grouping, formation type. We've got your disruptors, like your motion, formation in the boundary, your shifting, your bunch, your stack. We've got the plays. We've got play text, play type, yards gained, scored. And then we've got field zone. So we can kind of narrow down, like, different parts of the field. We can know what plays Ben Arbuckle leans on. We've got explosives, so we'll take a look at some explosives down the line. I mean, like, we've got so much, man. Run concept family production, from inside zone, counter, wide zone, dart. Run concept family usage, where we kind of just, again, production and versus calls. How often does he call plays? What are some of his bread and butter? And then down here, we've got the detail of those families, like quarterback inside zone. 15% of run production came from the quarterback running some sort of form of inside zone. And then on the right here, we've got field position production. So we can see what yard line, based on the yard line, what some of his better calls are. So if we take a look at, let's see, what we want to talk about tonight. Wide zone, so we can see some of the bigger plays. So you got a big play at Boise State. I believe it's Boise State, or is it Utah State? I get those state schools mixed up on the schedule, but
it was early in the Boise State game.
Oh, was it? Yeah, there you go. But yeah, a lot. So what I want to kind of go into today tonight is looking at wide zone. And the reason being is that according to SIS data, Sports Info Solutions data, one of our friends over there give us some good stats. OU ran wide zone 6% of the time, and like 6% equated to like 20 times the entire year, I think, outside zone, wide zone. And Ben Arbuckle, I mean, very different. You know, when we had the SEC schedule last year, one of the things I noticed is that almost every single team, like Missouri, Alabama, and other Ole Miss, they had a wide zone package. They ran wide zone. Some of them more obviously than others. The other thing is they ran wide zone out of pistol, and we did not run pistol very much at all last year. I think we got into it like late in the year, but it was not something that we hardly ever did. And so when I was going through this Washington State film, I gravitated towards it because I was like, that is something new. Like that is something new that OU fans are going to see next year is the pistol formation and then definitely wide zone. So as you can see here, I mean, Ben Arbuckle ran, this is yards gained, percent yards run gained, wide zone 15%. I'm pretty sure OU's production in wide zone last year was probably less than 5. Like it was not a part of our play bag. We leaned on inside zone, split zone early, and we bashed our heads in with it. Some of our data that we had, our yards per attempt on inside zone and split zone was about 1.5 yards, and it equated to like I think 15 to 18% of our calls. So like it was like truly just bashing our heads in, and we never really like developed anything until late in the year. Latrell gets let go. We start building our counter game, which is good to see. Ben Arbuckle loves his counter here. So, Coach, is there anything in these stats here that you want to take a look at before we move on to the film? I mean, I just wanted to kind of introduce the dashboard, but if there's anything you want to take a look at.
I mean, I think the only interesting thing is looking at the percent calls, the one you had down below this, the percent calls compared to production.
Yeah.
Like just seeing like counter and wide zone being called at the same clip, but counter being a more productive scheme for them overall. I think part of that is definitely the fact that having the quarterback having Mateer tilt the rock a little bit on counter and be able to bounce some of them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty anecdotal. I don't have any numbers behind that, but I just assume that's probably why, because they did do some of that.
Yeah, so quarterback
GT counter,
GT,
some quarterback GT. So
yep.
They didn't do any like quarterback wide zone, which is always something that's a little funky just because you get into timing issues with the center and stuff. But if you can get it down, like it's something that you can do if you lock the backside or split float or whatever. But we also talked a lot about, and I think we're going to talk more about in the future, just about Mateer not being the greatest at interior run reads in the run game and more of a perimeter dude. But still, his ability to tilt the rock, he's a big physical guy. You can rip it down the field. But wide zone is definitely a call for them that they liked and didn't get as much production as I kind of would have thought there would have been. But,
I mean,
it still is their third highest producing run. So
so let's take a look at some of this stuff here. So you just filter on a wide zone. I mean, here's all the plays that we got. Back up. Let me zoom in a little bit. So the Utah State 75 yards. Utah State 22.
Did they have a big one? What was the big run against Boise State then? I don't even remember.
That was Mateer. That was the inside zone, 52 yards. Boise State.
Yep, there we go.
It was like the very first quarter.
I think it was
the first play. Yeah, clip one.
First play.
Yeah, clip one. Boise State. So they, but no, wide zone wasn't I would say they're like bread and butter, but there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to wide zone. I hear it from the fans and some people have pods and stuff that, I mean, just the way it's not always like they hear wide zone, outside zone, they think we're trying to turn the corner and try to get to the sideline, and we're trying, but that's not how exactly it works. Like 90% of the time, right? We're puncturing and we're getting north and south after we elongate those or expand those gaps, and that's where I kind of want to have you kind of break into it, because again, seeing this next year, OU fans are gonna be like, oh, this definitely looks like a different offense, and I think because they've seen counter. They might not have seen the quarterback run game, which we'll do in another episode, but they definitely have not seen wide zone at a clip of 17% calls. So
Right. And I think like important to note is kind of like the terminology. Like I don't like debating terminology with people. You can call anything whatever the hell you want to. Just call it strawberry shortcake as long as the players know what you're calling, like whatever. I prefer to use the phrase wide zone strictly because like it's what you say. Like it's not always going to go outside. Now there are some people who do coach it to try and capture the edge and get to the perimeter. I would say 95% of coaches are not trying to do that. They're trying to stretch the front side, capture the backside, and then puncture the defense through one of the open gaps. It's a zone concept. You got multiple potential entry points, and getting the back that can really read that out and be disciplined in his reads, make a quick decision on his fifth step, and get vertical is the one that's going to make it happen for you.
Yep. So we'll look at wide zone. Called 58 times, earned 287 yards for an average of 4.9 yards a play. Which, I mean, 4.9, that sounds pretty good. But you take this, you take that 75 yarder, that probably drops down a bit. But still being as much as it's called, I feel like it warrants a look at film. So let's get into that.
We up and running? Yep, looks like it.
Yep. Yeah, I love this formation. I don't know why, but like the
double wing.
tight, the double wing. I love it. I don't know, pistol double wing. We never did this last year, so when I saw it in this film, I was like, this looks really neat. I like this.
I think what's cool too to note is like Ben Arbuckle has a big name for being an air raid guy, because when he was at Western Kentucky, like they slung the pill. They had what's dude's name? Bailey Zapp, I believe, was his quarterback.
Yep.
And they were throwing it all around the field, and they were dicing people up with mesh and wide cross and four verts. And you see some elements of that throughout his play calling. But like he likes to run the ball too. I don't know what he played when he was in college, but he likes to run the rock too. He understands that's a very important part of the game. I think some of the air raid labels on him, like I would argue to say he's not a full air raid guy, but I think there's definitely elements in his pass game. Regardless, some things I love about this, you're talking about the formation, the pistol. There's a big thing. I'm a wide zone fanatic. I love it. It's the base of my offense at William Penn. We run it, I think, 40% of our run game, and we have good yield from it. It was our most explosive play, most efficient. I think it was our second most efficient play, but most explosive play that we had in the run game. There's always going to be talk about the center to running back relationship. And you usually want the rule of thumb is you want your running back to be within a block and a half of your center. So that's where you get into the dilemma of shotgun or tossing it, different things where you're going to throw off that timing. So you often see wide zone run from the pistol, like Mizzou. They major in it too. Like they're one of the teams I watch every offseason. They're going to go in the pistol a lot because you get that running back to center relationship. So the best ones is whenever the running back is right over the center within a block and a half of him, and he's able to actually read it out from the outside in. So right here, if we're running, I believe, to the right, his key is going to be he's reading the widest guy on the line of scrimmage. There is no widest guy or outside guy here, so he's reading this guy first. We should absolutely get the edge here, and this is where people are going to think like, oh, outside zone goes outside.
Yep.
It's not always the case. In this case, it should be. And even then, he still takes it back inside, making me look like an asshole. But whatever. So whether they play this, and this is a good example of what the play really is. He's stretching this thing to the play side, and the rule of thumb for running backs is 3 steps. You make your decision. You're not allowed to cut till your 5th step is in the ground. I can't confirm or deny if they teach that. All I know is it's a fundamental to a lot of coaches who major in wide zone. So if we're watching this guy, he's out here. He's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he's getting up the field. So it times out really well here. Fifth step, he's able to make his decision, get vertical, and really stress and puncture that front side of the offensive line. The other thing that I really want to note, people like to think like wide zone, outside zone is a not physical play. You can kind of just displace people horizontally. Watch number 10 right here. Like, watch this dude get the business. They're moving him off the rock. They're displacing him 5, 7, 8 yards away from his initial alignment.
Yeah.
Like, they are moving people. It's physical. Your O-line gets to beat people up still. The way that we run it, too, I like to emphasize just running off the ball. You're going to use the athleticism of your offensive lineman. Maybe if you don't have the super athletic 300 to 290 to 280 pound dudes, you can get some big dudes rolling on this and bury some people on this shit, too. So when we talk about the wide zone stuff, where there's multiple facets you can do it, similar to inside zone. You know, you can get split flow, which is why this formation is so interesting. You can get split flow, you can get force, you can get leads with a fullback in the backfield or a tight end lineup next to the quarterback. All different types of shit that you can do from it and ways you can dress it up or complement it. But specifically on this one, you're going to see just the lead and the cap on the backside. I think it gets a different front. It'd probably be a better look at it, but we got more clips we can go through too.
Yeah.
It's like this one, back takes it a little tight, and you'll see like earlier I said he's not supposed to cut vertically until his fifth step. He sort of starts to bend it around 3 and 4, makes it less clean of an entry point. It's not as sudden. It won't make second level defenders misfit, but when they're in cover 0, it doesn't really matter as much.
Yeah.
So this is a play. I stay away from it within like the 5-yard line, but you can run it from your own 5 all the way up to like the 10-yard line. When defenses start to go into gapped out defenses, it gets a little difficult, a bunch of one-on-ones. But wide zone for me is a play that we can hang our hat on just because you can run it out of any personnel grouping, any formation, anywhere on the field. We've converted 1st and 10s for first downs. We've converted 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 1s, 4th and 1s for first downs. I think I'd be curious to see how much he calls this next year with having some of the higher recruiting power that he's got, more ammunition at offensive line for Oklahoma. I'd just be curious to see how much he calls it next season if he wants to be more involved in the wide zone game. Honestly.
Yeah, no, same here. You know, that was actually a question I was going to give you is, you know, what, like, offensive line wise, like, what kind of players are you looking for on the offensive line to run the wide zone?
So for me, I'm looking, and I'm an NAIA right now, so it's a different caliber of athlete. But if I were to be, you know, coaching in the SEC at Oklahoma, I'd be looking for dudes that are athletic, can run off the ball, some of the more explosive dudes on the field, 290, 310, somewhere in there for the offensive line. I want a center that's super athletic, that can get off the ball and gain depth immediately. And you'll see, like, this center, he gets away with some shit here. I don't know how much they major in wide zone or how they teach it, because there's multiple ways to teach it. Right. For me, I would be having these two combo, and they would technically be going to number 7 like they are. But I'd have them running. So you see the center, he kind of tempos out of his stance, trying to get hands on that guy.
Yeah.
I'd be having this dude run. Like, both these guys would be getting depth and running laterally. And, you know, Mizzou does a great job of that stuff, and they have really good examples throughout their film. But, you know, I don't know. This is more of a mid-zone-ish look. I don't know if they're teaching differently or whatever, but, you know, the aiming points, all this stuff, it all depends on what you're teaching. And it can vary from school to school for people, like what they want to teach based on where they're at, based on the caliber of athlete they have. So super interested to see what he does with it next year.
Yeah, you know, our offensive line took a beating last year. I mean, we had a lot of injuries and to start the year, and you know, going into this next year, I felt like the last 4 or 5 games or so of last year, like we kind of picked up. We started playing the younger guys, the more, you know, and they needed some time to get up to game speed. And I think like our we've got a good guard, we got a couple good tackles. We're still needing to get healthy, but the one area you mentioned, the center, you know, we've got a center, Troy Everett, and I'm not sure the offensive line that I'm a little bit worried about is that center position, knowing to make the calls. It's a new offense, brand new offense to him, to make the calls, and if he's got that fluidity, the feet to be able to, like what you say, like to run off the ball there. If there was any weakness on OU's line right now, I'd be watching through spring that center position. And the guards, we've got Weewoo and we've got Sexton, both really, they're, I think, plus athletes. And then our left tackle Howland is another, in my opinion, he's a plus athlete. Like they just need time. They're young guys.
Mhm.
But in the spring, I'm watching that center position because it is, Troy Everett, I think last year technically lost his job, and then this year, fought his way back into it. I'm gonna be watching that spring to see if he steps up to really take that mantle. And we've got an offensive line guy. You need to meet him too, JY, who's gonna come on after the spring game to talk OU offensive line. He played O-line in college, and he always talks about the importance of the center position being the tip of the spear to the offensive line. And so that's what I'm gonna be watching this spring is that center.
Yeah, so we were lucky. We had a 3-time all-conference center at my program this past season, and even for him, like a dude who was one of the top performing guys in the conference, he was having a tough time adapting to getting depth on this concept. Because if you look like down the line here, running wide zone, and for every concept in our offense we do it, but because we're a wide zone system, you want your offensive line as far off the ball as possible. You want room to be able to go run and get in front of these dudes and hopefully go capture that aiming point, especially on the backside to go cut it off. And we'll get into a little bit of throwing them out the club and stuff like that on the front side, but you want all that depth for these 4 guys. Well, the center doesn't get that. He's in a biomechanically disadvantageous position, and he's closer to the defensive line. It's just a tough deal for him, especially when you get into like reaching 3 techniques. And if you can do that, it really become an elite offense if your center can do that. So we had a dude who could do that, and it still took him, like I was the new OC last year. It still took him 3, 4, 5 games to get really well versed in it, even with the spring under his belt. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's some growing pains. I wouldn't be surprised if they call it a ton. I wouldn't be surprised if they call it a little. But I see what you're saying. Like that could be a limiting factor in the whole thing.
I mean, we talked a little bit about Creed, Creed Humphrey, and how he was
monster.
asked to do so.
Monster.
Yes, ladies. Yeah. We talked a little about Creed and how he was so Creed Humphrey was so influential in Lincoln Riley's run game at OU, and how OU was able to get away with a lot in the run game because of Creed. A lot.
They could run action off of GT counter because Creed Humphrey could go block a 5 technique on the backside, which might be a lot of jargon, but for anyone who doesn't know how hard that is one of the hardest things I've ever seen someone do on a football field. That's like the Odell Beckham Jr. catch of offensive line play. Like, I wish I could go find that thing. Like, that was – I remember watching the film back when Lincoln Riley was at OU, and I was like, no way. So there's no way this dude's doing this shit.
Yeah. So, but the center position is incredibly, incredibly important on the offensive line. It's incredibly important for really any scheme, and for this, wide zone scheme, because of his positioning. Like you said, he's on the ball, so him to get up and run with this defense, with the defense in wide zone, it takes a player. It takes a player.
For sure, it takes a really good athlete, and you can. I saw a tweet recently. It was like you can tell the teams that major in wide zone and the teams that don't. You can tell right now their percentage of calls is one thing, but the way they run it, you can tell they don't major in this.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's what I would like. That's just what I would say. You can tell there's certain things like, and there's difference in teaching too. There might be a gap in that as well. Like I might just teach it differently. I might know it differently. But for me, this dude hanging back on this guy when he's clearly already reached, like I don't think there's a need for that. Go climb, get vertical, go smack number 10 in the face with as much distance as you can. And you can even cap this thing to where now you're forcing the back to get a 2-way go instead of dictating where he runs. Because if we're not able to get here at center, up to 18, which he almost doesn't because he hangs back also. That could, you know, I mean, is that what they do? Tackles him? That's the tackle right there almost.
Yep.
So there's certain things where I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be a scheme they major in. Maybe some they decide to major in. Now they got the athletes for it. I don't know how much he ran it at Western Kentucky. I have no idea, but that'd be something I'm curious to get numbers on too. If I might reach out to someone with PFF or something, but
no, I got SIS. I can go in there and take a look.
Sweet.
That'd be
see,
interesting.
like, I think something to note though is like these dudes, like, they're still punishing D linemen. There's someone getting rolled up right there, right guard, getting vertical, burying a dude. Like, this is still a physical play. It's part of why I love it. You get big athletes to go run fast and hit small kids and bury D linemen and do all the fun stuff. So, the other thing that I want to know on this one is the tight end usage. They're back in that double wing formation. Getting the tight end out on this guy, this can be a key matchup that different offenses need to play with based on what you're going to do with wide zone. So I don't know if we potentially have a clip. These are all odd fronts in here. But if you end up getting a technique where they're going like super wide 9, like lots of what we saw with teams were trying to stop our wide zone, put a defender way outside so the tight end's technically supposed to go block them, and just having a defensive end just stump the tight end in the face. Like, just stump it or in place, stump them right in place. When that tight end can't move and the front side of the offensive line can't expand the front side and distort the front side, really, you really crush the whole play. You crush the flow of the offense. And there's different things you can do. You can put your tight end in the backfield and have him lead on an interior backer, have him get to the outside backer, do whatever you want there. You can take him off the ball, put him on the ball, different things you can do to fix it. But at the end of the day, that matchup, if you can have a tight end there that can win against a DN, huge. It opens the world for what you can do with wide zone. You don't have to worry about how you call it.
That's something to watch. Our OU's tight end room has basically been blown up. So we had Bauer Sharp move to LSU. We weren't a very good blocking tight end team last year. Bauer did his best, but he's more of a wide receiver playing tight end. And our tight end room is a big question mark. In our episode in the summer, we ranked the position groups by steakhouses of Norman, and I gave the tight end group Golden Corral as the worst. As, like, you know, what you know,
doesn't sound great.
No,
as among steakhouses, that's a great ranking.
No. So there's a lot of question marks at tight end, and OU used to be we would have H-backs, man, like Trey Millard and Dimitri Flowers, and we had some great H-backs that could block and catch the ball. And
you guys had Mark Andrews.
Well, Mark Andrews at tight end, but I'm talking like H-back. I'm talking like legit fullback. Like, we used to have a fullback. But they would be our tight end 2 and would be in this set and would be a great blocker. Non-existent. In the last 3 or 4 years, it just vanished. And we've got Carson Kent and a few other FCS transfers that come in. Tight end blocking is another question mark. Center and tight end blocking. Like, in this offense, I don't think you need of course you would want it, a tight end, a two-way tight end that can catch and block. I don't think OU's going to have that next year. We need to find a blocking tight end. We have to have it. And that's why I've said all these examples of Ben Arbuckle's, double wing. I love it. But I'm hoping that we can find some tight ends to help us in the spring to help us next year. So tight end, man, tight ends, need blockers. Need blockers.
The great part about wide zone and inside zone and really zone plays in general is you don't need a tight end. So you can get away with running this shit without having a tight end involved at all, just being in 10 personnel and even being like 11, having a tight end split out if he's better at, being a big body billboard pass catcher. But regardless, like, the more you can do with a tight end, the more fun you get to have with this concept. So like something that you can do, which it's not groundbreaking or anything, but just getting, let's say 24, don't know the kid, whatever, say he's not a good blocker. If you don't like him on the front side, now you can start to integrate different RPOs or split flows based on what the defense is going to do, to where you're getting him backside to go cut off the backside end.
Yep.
And then with this guy, if you're in the double wing stuff, you can arc him, RPO to the flat, do whatever you want to. Or if you're just in an 11 personnel situation, split flow on this dude is a big answer because lots of teams, especially the higher levels, like in the SEC for example, they're going to be falling back with their linebackers because of their quarters fits with the safeties and nickels, safeties and overhangs, whatever it may be. But when you get the fallback and stuff, there's different things you can do to protect your tight end, I guess is my point. So you can do different things to keep them out of it, keep them in it, keep them on the field, keep them off the field. So if you guys are struggling in the tight end department, like it might be a situation where you are running a lot more of this next season simply because they don't have a tight end who can go be that guy.
I hope we find one. I hope we find, because I mean,
perfect example. Like they motioned to the split flow here, but again, like
they did do this.
My fat ass could come do this. I could come have as much impact on this play as this kid does on this one, like. But I said earlier about like the not majoring in it, and I can kind of tell this block right here. Almost universally, I would say almost because I don't want to act like I know everything. Almost universally, this dude is taught you got to run your ass off and cut this dude off.
Yep.
And he's kind of tempoing his steps a little bit, doing some duck walking and not able to get there.
Got to get that backside knee through crotch, man, and get that hand to sternum and turn him out. And he's not. I mean, his knee never even attempts to. That right knee does never work.
We look at his first step too. Like when he's dropping this foot, his angle is set through the defender. He can set this thing deeper with his first step and really set that angle wide to go run. You can always slow down. You can't accelerate more. Like it's hard. Like it's just hard biomechanically. Like to start slow and then be like, oh shit, I need to go catch up. This dude is also a Division I athlete, and at the next school, this dude's also an SEC athlete. Like if you slow down your first few steps, he's not going to let you get there. So those are the kind of things that make me just wonder, like how, maybe not well is not the right word, but like how deeply they've invested into this concept. There's a really high percentage of calls, their second most called concept. But I don't know how much they invested into getting good at it, and I'd be, like I said earlier, really curious to see how well or how much they invest in it the next season or two.
Yeah, same. I hope we do run some wide zone because I feel like I'm learning it. I'm following. I'm beginning to understand it and like it more and more. But in an OU perspective, we've got a running back named Xavier Robinson, ex-Rob, and I can imagine. He's a big dude. He's like, I think he came in at like 250 and he shredded like maybe 20 pounds. He's like 230 pounds.
Nice.
And he's a big back. And he's got good feet. And I can only imagine having those defenders moving horizontally and having to come and make an arm tackle on a 230 pound back at a horizontal angle.
And that's the whole theory with like Derrick Henry. Like that was what he did with the Titans. Get people to move horizontally, and that's the whole, not the whole, but a huge part of why you want to run wide zone. Like you can run inside zone, and there's big debates about if you need the horses up front to do it or what the situation is there. But it's still a double team focused concept, I would say. But at the same time, like you're on wide zone, now you're forcing people to run horizontally and make these side tackles instead of coming downhill and trying to thump you. Which,
I mean, linebackers want to square up on you.
Right, you think biomechanics, like force, just basic physics. Like you got force going this way. Where's my camera? Force going this way. Force going that way. It's gonna stop. Like you got force going this way and a force coming at it. It's gonna keep going forward. So like,
and Xavier Robinson was very good at shredding tackles. Like he was. I mean, guys were trying to arm tackle him, and he was able to just. I mean, he just got big old arms and big thighs. And I was watching this, and I was like, man, if he could if we could get some wide zone, if he can run it, if he can, like his reads and like you mentioned his steps, third step, 5-step, and get up north south and puncture, I think he would kill it. I think he could kill it.
I
I
love
could
big
see
backs and wide
tons of
zone.
missteps. He's a big back. I think if the reads are there and he can get north, I was watching this over and over again, and it's funny you mentioned Derrick Henry. That's exactly what I was thinking was Derrick Henry. So, yeah. So we do have a great big back that could fit the idea or the philosophy of broke arm tackles and extra yards. So
For sure. Something else to illustrate with this clip in particular, like look where this hits. I identify the zone and gap concepts. Some people say in zone you have a zone and gap you have a gap. To me, that sounds like the same shit. For me, a zone concept means the back has multiple potential entry points. And when you're in a gap concept, we're saying, hey, running back, we're forcing you in this gap. So I understand, like you have A gap power, C gap power, your counter can bounce. I understand all that stuff, but I'm just saying, like that's like the objective of the concept. When I call it what I'm thinking, like what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So when we run this wide zone, you get situations where you're going to capture the edge and it will go outside. You'll also get this situation where you end up pushing it and you end up cutting in the backside B gap.
Yep.
So watch right guard right here. He ends up pushing, cutting the backside B gap.
Yep.
So this is a little funky because the split flow doesn't quite get all the way to the outside. He has to help with this guy, but
yeah.
And still,
I think go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, go for it. I was about to move on to.
Oh no.
Safety
no, I was just reiterating what you said. For a fan, when you're running zone, and especially like a wide zone, you're trying to expand gaps. If you've got a running back that can read properly and read right, zone's going to give more opportunities, whether it's the D, C, or B, or A, or even in this case, like you said, the backside B, or backside A.
Backside B right here.
Backside B? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Jesus,
like,
that's crazy. So the aiming point, again, like show them where the aiming point is. So the aiming point's technically that.
So we will go back to here. For me and for most people, aiming point is going to be the outside leg of the tight end. If there's no tight end, outside leg of the ghost tight end. So draw a line right there.
Yeah, so for the fans that are watching, the aiming point is looking right there, basically like the D gap, like outside. You want to say outside, whatever, wide zone. The aiming point's there, but as the play is developing and the defense is doing its thing, whether they're stunning inside, stunning this way, whatever, the running back has the opportunity to go into any of those gaps as they expand out. Versus like your gap scheme, like you mentioned, the call is made, gap scheme, we're trying to hit that one gap. We're trying to displace in that gap and go and hit it hard. Whereas zone, we're having multiple opportunities as the play develops. You just need a running back that can read it and go.
Right. And I try to, when I was coaching running backs back at Davenport days, like I always try to make it a 1-2 go system. So like everything, you got 1 read, 2 read. After that, you're taking off. You're going, I don't want them thinking too much. Part of what makes great running backs great is how athletic they are. How great they are at being, there's vision elements that I think where the running back coach comes into play. But I think, just their raw athleticism, you see lots of dudes out there, even at the highest level in the SEC that are, maybe not getting the most coaching. And maybe their coach is more of a recruiting dude who's super good at bringing in top level talent who can go tote the rock and doesn't matter what you tell them to read. They're going to be really good regardless. So, for us and for most people, pick your aiming point, outside leg of the tight end, inside leg of the tight end, butt of the tight end, whatever it may be. That's just the track of which the back is going to run for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps.
Yep.
His eyes are not necessarily always following his track. So in this example here, like the first read of the running back is the widest down defender play side. So if there's a D-gap defender all the way out here, like a 9 technique, that would be his first read. In this particular situation, this guy is his first read. His second read is opposite where that guy gets blocked. So if we get the reach right here, which we should really with the tackle and even the guard because he's in an inside shade, if he gets the reach right there and this guy is blocked that way, the running back's read goes that way.
Mm-hmm.
If that guy gets blocked opposite, he gets blocked outside, he gets pushed out, the running back's read then goes inside. And on your fifth step, you're making your cut, and you get one cut. That's the rule. Doesn't matter if you run this with an inside aiming point outside, you get one cut. Double clutching is the death of this play. That's the cardinal sin. The running back cannot double clutch. He cannot stop his feet. He cannot pitter-patter his feet. One step, put your foot in the ground, get up the field. And what you see happen a lot of the time is a perfect demonstration right here is watching this boundary safety. So the running back sets his track wide. He's in gun, differences, whatever. He sees this wide zone. He thinks, oh, I got to fit outside here because the running back's going outside. Running back puts his foot in the ground suddenly right there. That safety is nowhere to be found.
That's awesome.
Now, I understand like this is not his run fit, but at the end of the day, he could have been there. He's probably got a front side C gap responsibility here. But you see safeties all the time when they tempo it a little more and they're able to actually fall back with the split flow, able to get back into it. When we're making a misfit, there ain't nothing he can do. He has to respect the C gap because if we hit it on the outside, he's got to be there. It's technically his run fit in this case, I would believe, with the split flow, that is. And then if he's going to fit that and respect that, there's no one left for the cutback when we get good blocks up front. So we're looking again like how physical this is. We're displacing 94 from the hash to the middle of the logo.
That's awesome.
We got 10 pushed all the way outside the logo. You know, good stuff happens when you move people. More odd front stuff. Here we're in a true 10 personnel, float the back. It looks like we're running a little bit more on this one. But you see here, like this is exactly what I was looking for in one of these clips. It's 70. He's not able to get the reach on the middle backer. So what he's going to do is he's going to, what I call torque or throw him out the club. He's going to take his inside hand and torque the dude to the outside and run him sideways. Doesn't get there, torques him, ends up burying him almost. Plays a nice guy a little bit. I don't know if I love that, but.
And 70's the center. 70's the center, and he's working up to the second level, and he does a great job of getting that play side backer off.
So, and this is another example. So, like last time he hit backside B gap, here it is backside A gap.
Yeah, this is a great concept. I really hope that we could run this next year. I think it'd be awesome with our playback. And Coach Beatenbow is a big counter guy. He loves counter. He knows so much about counter. OU hasn't really ran much wide zone. I really hope that we can mix wide zone and counter much like because Arbuckle runs a lot of different variations of counter in this too. He does. And I think the two is just so hard to defend the both of them.
For sure. And that's something that actually on our offense we're looking more towards dabbling with different complements for it for the coming season. But I think a note with that is if you want to be a big wide zone strong or wide zone weak team. I think there's different complements you want to carry either way. I said it earlier, I'll say it again. I don't think that they major in wide zone, so it doesn't really apply to Arbuckle unless he moves that way in the future. But if you want to be a wide zone strong team, you need to be able to complement out of the pistol with a run that goes weak. And if you're a team that runs wide zone both ways, like I am, you need to have one that complements either one out of the sidecar. So if you're going to be like here, they're going sidecar away from the run strength, and they're running wide zone strong. You need to have a run from the sidecar here that's going to go attack this front side to the weak side. Same thing, vice versa. So if this dude's over here running wide zone weak, you need to have something that's going to attack downhill to the strong side.
Yep.
So for us and for them, like counter is a great fit, especially all the Y off stuff that they're doing. And depending on who you got, it could be different. As this clip right here, they have them in line. Power could be a great complement if you're a big wide zone weak team. You know, and something that you can do, like part of why wide zone is so amazing for me, you can formation it however the hell you want. You could be unbalanced, FIB, nub like right here. You can go stacks and bunches to widen defenders. You can use anything 10 personnel, 12 personnel, 13 personnel. You can be in all these different sets with fullbacks or whatever you want to do. And part of what that does is it lets you get matchups like this. I don't know if 13's a safety or a corner, but he looks pretty fucking little.
He's corner. He's a corner.
Like number one ain't too much
play.
bigger, but one of them's a safety, one of them's the corner. Sometimes the teams will do when they get this nub set is they'll invert the two and run cover 2 over here so that they can have a bigger dude to support the run. But you get a good matchup right here with your tight end, and kind of to what I was saying earlier, this matchup can be something that you use to dominate. So they cut this thing back, I think, too early here. But like the tight end, if he wasn't pussyfooting with him, like he's got that dude locked up. He could probably run. I see it in the size difference. He could probably run him to the sideline more.
Yeah.
But if this running back presses the front side, I bet you also if they're in pistol here, they're able to hit this thing front side. But like this matchup is something that can be manipulated heavily.
Yeah.
And so going from the gun here, running back definitely cuts it up early. I always talk about with the difference between gun and pistol is the cut point. So if we go back to a pistol clip.
Oh, right. Yep. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So here's a pistol clip. His fifth step is what we talked about the whole time, is where he can cut the ball up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is where he's allowed to make his first cut. Doesn't have to, but he's allowed to. When you go from sidecar, like where are we? We're just inside the X. We're at the at the top of the pack. So when you go from sidecar, you're trying to get to this same point right here before you make your cut.
Go ahead and mark it. Go ahead and mark it to show.
It's going to move with the phone. But so you're trying to get, so from pistol, that's where we're going to get. When we go from sidecar, we're trying to get to that same point before we make our cut. And that makes it more difficult. If you got a super athletic back, it don't matter as much. But it makes it more difficult for 2 reasons. You can just look at the angles, and the film's a little funky with the angles, but whatever. The angle between that and the 90-degree that, athletically, this is much harder than this.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
The other factor is the relationship with the center. So I said it about this last clip, is if he was in pistol, he probably gets it front side. Look at how he never gets in phase with the center, and he's not able to get there.
And you have to be in phase with the center in order, in order for this to work properly. And if he was in center, he would have had a better read there.
For me, there's some people who don't believe in that. I'm not gonna say one's right, one's wrong. This is just what I believe. What I've heard a lot of really smart people believe. So, the dude who said that the first time was Andy Koltanicki.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's doing all right for himself. So
yeah, he is. Yeah, so that's why again, OU didn't really get into pistol very much either, like at all. Like I honestly cannot remember them getting into pistol maybe 5 or 10 times. Like I can't even recall. And that's why seeing this pistol formation, seeing this wide zone, and like you've already mentioned Missouri, they get in pistol wide zone all the time. And Alabama, Ole Miss, like they all had those packages. OU last year did not have it at all. And seeing this offense, I want to see this in the playback. Do they have to major in it? No, they don't have to major in it. But I do like the scheme being in their play bag and being able to bring it out, especially in all these odd fronts. I didn't realize as I put all these clips in, all these explosive plays that they had in wide zone is against odd front. I didn't realize that. I didn't save any against the even front. I don't know if that was by accident or maybe all of them are against odd front. But SEC got plenty of defenses that run the odd front, so
yeah, for sure.
That should work.
Yeah, no, I mean wide zone strong is a great answer to odd fronts. So the limiting factor becomes kind of what I talked about earlier with that backside reach right here. You can get that guy cut off. It's just cake over here. It doesn't matter. You can push the front side or get the reach on it. Either way, you're going to make some money off this.
Yeah.
And so, to say it, I think for the 4th time now, like you can tell they don't major in it yet, if they're ever going to, because this dude is not just taking his soul and taking the edge.
Yeah.
What you should do here, in my opinion, is run your 3-step read and get vertical through this dude to really cut this thing off and go seal it up to the safety.
Yeah. And, I've watched some Andy Maribel of Miami and formerly the Oregon
Alex.
Oregon offensive line. Yeah, Alex. Sorry, yeah,
Alex
Maribel. Yeah, he's got some great clinics there on CoachTube, and you see the Penei Sewell, the big old tackle. Wow, I mean, the physicality in wide zone, moving people. I mean, the guy, like you mentioned, he kind of looks like he's trying to play patty cake. Penei Sewell would be just knocking the hell as a left tackle, just blowing him up and then moving. He would already be gone to the second level. Like he would already be gone. The guard would have been already reached him. He would already be plowing a linebacker in this exact play here. But 76 sort of kind of like it just looks like he kind of just floats there for way too long for whatever reason. So
yeah, and so part of it is like the intent behind it. He's letting the front expand here. He's not distorting the defense. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Like, there's a big difference between kind of letting this thing drag on out or like 61. 61 is distorting the defense. Look how far he moves that guy.
Yeah.
Now, 76 can help us out by getting a little more vertical and going through him. Now this
Going through
becomes
him,
some really good movement that helps us get the edge.
Yeah.
And they're in cloud here, so the corner's got the C-gap run fit, but receiver helps us out. And we're probably able to give to a safety if he goes more vertical, which is always a good thing.
Yeah.
Well,
these were good looks, man.
For sure. No, I think also like you kind of mentioned the even and odd stuff. Like, it's still a good concept against 9 techniques. It's still a good concept against 6 eyes. It's still a good concept against even fronts. I think they just saw a lot of these throughout their time playing in the Mountain West and the Pac-2 or whatever. But
yeah, Pac-2. Well, the other thing is, especially going through, and we'll have other talks, but getting into Mateer was such a great athlete, and we've when he goes through throwing the football, he could rip it. And I noticed in the beginning of the year, when playing in the even front and I'm trying to keep it kind of dumb it down a little bit, dropping 7. A lot of defenses were dropping 7, and they were able to move the ball. And I believe I gotta look at their schedule, but somewhere in the middle part of the year, a team went into this odd front drop 8. They did not want them to throw the ball anymore. So they were a lot of like even not Boise State, Texas Tech, and some of these other teams. They were trying to really running that kind of Iowa State defense where they were umbrelling everything. Yeah, the 3 high look. They were trying to cap everything. They weren't allowing anything over the top. And I feel like this pistol wide zone or even this wide zone against these odd fronts were a way to kind of counter some of that.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's your 3 high. This dude's a little low,
right here.
But 1, 2, 3 safeties.
Exactly.
I think New Mexico is actually the second leading team in the nation who ran 3 high.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been Ohio State, but I don't think they did as much as New Mexico. But
they were, and the other thing is, they knew Mateer and Washington State were going to score. They scored a ton of points, and the Washington State defense was terrible, and so they knew their offense could score. So they were like, okay, this is going to be another shootout. Let's cap it, and let's see if we can just stop the run without numbers. And Arbuckle would run counter, and then he would run this wide zone and chew him apart with it. So
for sure.
Anyway, man, I think we touched on a lot of wide zone, man. For a night that we were just hanging out.
Yeah, definitely got through a lot for like 6 clips.
I'm glad I didn't put any more in there. I was like, oh man. But yeah, that was 6. Dang.
That was 6.
We got through. We did good.
Sweet. Oh shit! It got dark in here. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Sun went down in Iowa.
Well, that was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, that was fun.
So guys, so guys, this is Coach Flo. You can find him on X, CJ Floden, and he's got a great Discord channel, Coach's Den. Go find it. It's a bunch of coaches. Identify yourself as a fan, and just ask questions. Don't be an asshole, and have fun. And,
don't be an asshole. Don't market selling your MacBook charger or whatever that bug is that keeps getting through our server. And don't argue about terminology is basically our rules. Other than that, come ask questions. Yeah. I made it for coaches originally so that we could just talk ball and learn from each other and get better. Because I've noticed, through being a Division I GA, through being a D2 position coach and an NAIOC, just like there's lots of coaches who need a lot of help. Not to shit on the profession, but like through every level, there's coaches who need to expand their knowledge in certain categories and areas. So just trying to create a space where we can all exchange information and really, get together on meetings or learning stuff, and we'll watch film in there. I'll give out some film every now and then of different teams that I've got and share it with everybody. And there's it's free. There's a donation thing if you want to help us keep the drive up and help us keep it running. But other than that, like, it's free for anyone who wants to come in and learn some football.
Yeah, it's a really cool community that you're building over there. I'm happy to be a part of it. I go in there and I like to find all the goodies. I mean, there's like playbooks in there and all kinds of stuff. I mean, I found like Alabama's defensive playbook just sitting in there. I was like, I mean, for like Saban's playbook, but I mean, there's all kinds of cool stuff, and everyone in there is really cool, and it's growing, man. It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. Yep. I'm happy to be a part of it.
We're up over 300 members right now.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, so thank you for coming on. Let's close this out. So with me, hey, thank you everybody for tuning in. We've got a lot to talk about this offseason. Now that we got Washington State finished, we'll talk more Washington State. Coach Flo will come on when he's got time to talk some more. And Coach Flo, we're gonna go into our next team. What team do you want to dive into next over the next?
I would love to do Texas. I know you want to do Texas too, but like I would love to do Texas too.
I've
already got a ball in here, but
I know you do. I saw it. I hate Texas. I don't like Sark. I think he's an a-hole. But when it comes to scheming up stuff, man, holy crap!
She likes the bottle a little bit back in the day. Nothing major.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's made some major strides in his life. Good for the dude, feel good for him.
Yeah, well, he's got the alcoholism in control. I still hope that he gets some anger management stuff going on too. But
whatever. Yeah, I've seen those coaches.
Yeah, we'll dive into some Texas. I'm excited actually to watch. I mentioned this. I mean, to OU fans with Texas. I mean, if Sark is he's a good play caller, and when we go back to the OU Texas game, he had some great calls. I mean, there was some really great plays that some of them were executed great by his players. They were drawn up great. And I mentioned to OU fans back then, I was like, if that is your OC that you have to play against every year, you better go and get an OC that's on the same level, or that's the level you got to be at. Like where we were with our previous OC was not where we wanted to be. And to face him every single year, like we have to study him. Let's get into him and let's see what stuff he does. And so that's gonna be I think for OU fans, I think that would be a good look to see what makes him as a good play caller, and why he's found success really with you lost Xavier Worthy and you lost all Jatavian Sanders 2 years ago, and then this year he's losing another crop of players. It's obvious that the dude has got a system that is very player friendly. So that'll be a fun dive into.
For sure.
All right, guys.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah. All right. Oh, and one final surprise. You've listened to it. Here's our surprise. I didn't mention it at the top of the pod because I forgot. We're gonna close this out, and we're gonna play our new anthem. Our new anthem. You've heard it. I've sent it to you. I got it loaded up. But here's our final anthem. We're gonna be carrying this through for our next pods. But everyone, thank you so much for listening, and enjoy our little surprise here.
That's my standard. That's my standard. My champion standard. Champion standard. Pull away the answers. Yeah, the answers. The champion standard. Champion standard. Yeah. I be in the field, ready, set the goal. 7 rings, we way too cold. Hand my jersey up, it's greatness overload. We show up every time, rain, sleet, hail, snow. touchdown, we show you how we do it, yeah. Life always feel better when you living as a champ. Cause my standard that I